Mhm. Okay, so have you heard about EMFs and what's all the hype about and why should you care? I'd really love for you to hear about all this today from my guest, Wendy Myers. She's an expert in EMF. So let me tell you a little bit about Wendy. She is the founder of MyersDetox.com. She is a detox expert, functional diagnostic nutritionist, and NES Bioenergetics Practitioner, as well as the #1 best-selling author of Limitless Energy: How to Detox Toxic Metals to End Exhaustion and Chronic Fatigue. Additionally, Wendy is the host of the Heavy Metal Summit and 2 podcasts: the Myers Detox Podcast about protecting your health with detoxification, and the Supercharged Podcast about bioenergetics. She's passionate about the importance of detox to live a long and healthy life. She created the revolutionary Myers Detox Protocol after working with thousands of clients, as well as a range of supplements to help you detox from everyday living and maintain a healthy lifestyle. Wendy, welcome to the show. I'm so excited to have you here.
Yes, thanks for having me.
I was really intrigued because I wanted to have you on the show for a long time because I have this Harmony pendant, and I know we're going to talk about it later, but I knew that this made a big difference in my health because I measure different metrics all the time. And so I was really excited about this whole concept of EMFs. And well, I wasn't excited about EMFs, but excited about learning more about how to do something about it. So let's dive in. You're an expert in EMFs and how to protect yourself. So before we get into that, I'd love to hear a little bit about your background, because all of us have come to this holistic health space because of a story, a journey with either with ourselves or someone we love. So how about you? Is this the same with you?
Yeah, absolutely. I am 49 right now, and about a little over 10 years ago, I was just having a lot of health struggles. I just had a baby. I was just doing everything right with my health. I mean, eating an amazing organic diet, cooking all my own food, exercising 6 to 8 hours a week. I mean, I could not have been doing more for my
Wow.
health, and I just felt terrible. I didn't recognize myself in the mirror. I was having bouts of anger and even rage. I was just not sleeping well. I wasn't losing weight. I mean, I was punishing myself, working out, and it just wasn't, the scale really wasn't budging. At least I thought, in my 20s, I'd be an Olympic athlete, doing the stuff that I was doing, going to bed hungry. And I just went to the doctor. I knew something was wrong. And I said, figure out what's wrong with me. She was a functional medical doctor, and she found out I had the hormone levels of a menopausal woman, which I was thrilled to hear
Oh,
at
yeah.
37, and she wanted to do all the hormone replacement therapy and thyroid
Oh
hormone
my gosh.
replacement. And I just thought, what am I going to do? Take hormone creams for the next 20, 30 plus years? And that just didn't seem like a viable option
Mm.
to me. And so I went on Dr. Google and found, I was trying to search, what interferes in your hormones, what interferes in sex hormones and stress hormones and thyroid hormones. And I kept hitting upon toxins. And I started a detox program, and lo and behold, it wasn't right away, but a few months later, I was feeling a lot better, sleeping better, and just had really astounding results. And I thought, this is it. I need to tell people about this. And I started MyersDetox.com and, publishing what I was researching and writing. And, but then I discovered bioenergetics, which, completely resolved bulimia that I was dealing with. It helped me work on emotional trauma, and it helped me really discover how the body really works, is where we have an energy field around our body. I mean, our body does communicate with hormones and neurotransmitters and things like that, but the majority of the communication in our body happens in this energy field, the
Oh, yeah.
sphere around our body, so to speak. And, we have brain waves. We have a wave that our heart sends out, and there's information on these waves. Our body's communicating this way. And it works much in the same way as like your Wi-Fi. You have packets of information, lots of information on these Wi-Fi signals. And the same thing happens in your body. the same exact, mechanism. So learning about bioenergetics really helped me learn the basis. This is like the root of where all your health issues begin, or all your emotional traumas all reside in this energy field. They're not in your physical body.
Mm-hmm.
They're in your energy field, energetic blocks and
Yeah.
things like that, on your meridians, your chakras. Those are all part of this energy field. And so if you can address your health issues at that level, the energetic level, your physical body follows suit, takes direction from the energy field. So it's much more elegant and simple to work in the energy field than to try to tinker with supplements and diet and all these different things that people attempt to do on a physical level only.
Oh my goodness, Wendy, you are talking my language. I absolutely love that. I also really love that you knew there was something wrong with you. You knew that you listened to your intuition telling you that that's not the right solution for me, and found another solution. So that's always really empowering for people to hear. It's kind of like you made a decision that I'm gonna figure this out, and you consulted our favorite doctor, Dr. Google, which of course is a ton of information, a lot of it conflicting, but you did eventually get to some answers, and led you to energy, and that's happened in my own journey as well. And
Yeah, because
sometimes,
I want to get to the underlying root cause of the
yeah,
issue. I don't want to just put a band-aid on it. And I
right.
want to figure out what is causing this and how do I fix that. So that's the underlying kind of motivation behind anything I do or talk about, including for my own health.
Absolutely. And everything does happen in the energetic field first. And it kind of, it seems normal to you and I talking about energy, but it's still, for some people, they're like, what? Energy? No. But, they kind of accept that there's an MRI machine and that's measuring energy, right? It uses our own electromagnetic fields to produce the images. So, this has been known for a long time. It's hard for people to get the idea that we are more than just our physical body, that we have an energetic field. We're always projecting out. As you mentioned, the heart has this huge field that we can feel it when other people walk in the room. We can sense stuff. So I love that you're doing this energy work. So let's talk a little bit. We talked about interferences in the energy field, and that's what ends up causing physical problems in our body. What kinds of these interferences would you say are causing the problems?
Yes. So like I mentioned, we have these native frequencies like our heart frequency and our brain waves, and there's so many others. Like every organ in your body has its own energy field. Your DNA throw off an energy field. Everything on the world and the planet has a frequency that can be measured, every tiny little thing.
Yeah.
And so then we introduce these non-native frequencies like EMFs or electromagnetic fields, things like the Wi-Fi, things like your cell phone, anything electronic. When you turn looking for your Wi-Fi signal, your neighbors, there's 20, 30, 20, 50 different Wi-Fi signals out there. These are non-native frequencies. They're very harsh, strong frequencies that interfere in your body's communication system. And that's why they cause the symptoms that they do. That's why they cause heart palpitations.
Right.
People have their heart starts beating really fast, especially people that will go into a big city and drive into a big city. They feel kind of stressed. They don't really know why. Or some people have heart palpitations. Some people can't even go, people that are electrosensitive can't even go into large cities. They just can't, their body can't handle it. Or people have trouble sleeping because EMFs are interfering in your brain waves, in the brain waves that your brain emits when you're sleeping and going to a restful, peaceful state. And then we see cancers. I mean, we see benign and malignant tumors happening because these EMFs interfere in our cell, function and mechanisms and cause aberrant cells to begin growing. Especially if people are sleeping where they're just bathed in high EMFs, when there's a smart meter on the same wall as the head of their bed, which happens, or if they live right next to a cell phone tower or whatnot. There's lots of different examples we can come up with, but It's very clear in the research that EMFs also interfere in your immunity, really lots of different mechanisms in your body. They also interfere in your voltage calcium gated cells, where they cause calcium to build up in your cells, and this will interfere in their functioning and toxins, nutrients getting in, toxins getting out. The voltage of your cells, that it has to have a certain voltage to work properly, that is dramatically interfered with. So the EMFs really have devastating effects on our health, and people just, they don't realize it until they get out of this high EMF zones. Like they leave a city and they go away camping for the weekend, and they just sleep so much better and they feel so relaxed. And they think it's because they went on vacation, but it's really, they got away from these very, very stressful EMFs. Or sometimes you'll go sleep in a hotel room and all the wiring inside the hotel room is grounded, or they have insulation around the wiring. I noticed this myself, I'd sleep so good in some hotel rooms. And that's because it's very much insulated. The wiring inside the walls and the EMF signal maybe not be so good. This is in the past. Now they all have really good EMF signals. But yeah, it's you can do this experiment for yourself. But and some people have different degrees of EMF sensitivity.
Right.
Some people are extreme. So some people are like, oh, EMFs, like hooey. But the reality is, there's a spectrum. Some people cannot function at all. Some people are completely debilitated by EMFs. And this is something you might want to look at if you've been, the doctor can't figure out what's wrong with you and you can't work, you're debilitated. They probably haven't looked at EMFs. So you might want to look at that and shielding yourself and see if you improve. And some people are just not in touch with their bodies at all. Some people are more resilient perhaps to it, but also some people just aren't in touch with their bodies physically and maybe numb to a certain degree and just don't feel anything as far as the EMFs, but they do impact your health even if you can't feel them.
A lot of times people just think, I'm getting older, I guess that's why I'm tired. I know I was in a class with a woman who was so sensitive, like they had to live in the country where there was no signal at all, and her kids were as well. I mean, it's very debilitating for some people when they are sensitive. I mean, we're all sensitive to some degree, right? And I think the fact that people can't see it, again, they can't see it, so they don't believe that it's real, but it is real. So what are some ways that you suggest that people mitigate the effects of EMFs?
Yes, well, there's some very simple things, and there's also some very expensive things that you can do. It depends on how far you want to take things. So number one, the easiest thing that you can do is I developed this Harmoni pendant here. So this is a very simple thing that you can do. It's you just put it on, you activate it and put it on, and it goes with you everywhere that you go. So there's a lot of different devices out there. There'll be stickers on your phone, or there'll be stickers for your computer, your router, or there's whole home protectors. And those are great, but they don't go with you when you walk out of the door. When you go to the office or whatever you're doing shopping. So the Harmoni pendant goes with you everywhere that you go. And so it's really helpful because it protects your entire body. So we did a study, we had 100 different patients and 8 different doctors. We want to make sure we had a lot of different doctors that were just, they're all, working in isolation, and they all did about 15 patients each. And they tested people. First, they did a baseline test. They exposed them to a high EMF source. At another test, they used this software called Heart Scientific, and it tested about 30 different variables like mitochondrial functioning, brainwave functioning, their heart rate variability, which is a measure of stress that's used in all kinds of studies. It measured people's chakras, their meridians, all kinds of different things. Yes. And then after the EMF test, then they still continue to be exposed to the EMF source, put the Harmoni pendant on, and then 5 to 10 minutes later did another third test to see how all the variables were behaving. And so lo and behold, baseline looked pretty good. And then on average, after exposure to the EMF source, all the numbers tanked pretty badly. And then after putting the Harmony pendant only for 5 or 10 minutes, just that small amount of exposure, most people improved over and above the baseline, still being exposed to the EMF source. So what we did discover with the study is that people had on average a 48% reduction in the stressful effects of EMF. So they had improved
Wow.
symptoms, but their heart rate variability improved on average by 700%. So
700.
700%
Wow.
on average. Yeah. And then we also had things like people's their mitochondrial energy reserves improved by 530%. And there are a lot of other variables. We'll put a link down below so people can look at the study and all the different results of the study. People had a 160% improvement in their circadian rhythms. And that's why we have people report that they sleep better, they have more energy, they have less fatigue sitting in front of their computer all day. People report a lot less pain because it reduces inflammation. People report, what else do they report? So it's mainly sleep and energy, and they just feel less stressed
Right.
overall. And so they can, but like I said, we have over 1,000 reviews on our website where you can read them for yourself, all the different reviews. And if people, it's risk-free, because if at any time, at any point you want to return it, we give 100% refund at any time. There's no time limit. We believe in the Harmony pendant and what it does. And if you're not happy, we just give you a refund.
Amazing, Wendy. And, I got it because I know about EMS and I'm like, well, this is an easy fix, right? And I saw the science. So I got this and I messaged you because I was wearing it, every day. And then I forgot to wear it. And I track my heart rate variability with my Aura ring, so I could see what happened. My heart rate variability went down. And as you said, the heart rate variability, it's an indicator of stress levels. Is also an indicator of health. So basically, high number, good health; lower number, not as good health. So I could see exactly what happened. So like, I have no trouble telling people that this is an amazing thing, and it's really pretty. It's really pretty. Can you tell me a little bit about the design of it?
Yes, yes. So we had just to reiterate what you said, and we've had so many people tell us the same thing, that they track their heart rate variability using the Aura ring. There's other methods. Some people, I've had different doctors use different types of software, like there's a Chief Fractal software, and different ways people, detect what they're doing is working for them or not. And all of them have said the same thing, that they track their heart rate variability on a regular basis. Their heart rate variability improves after putting the Harmony pendant on, and it goes down and gets worse if they're not wearing it on a given day. So it just, you can test that out for yourself, But the design, I had a friend of mine that I met in Bali, and he designs jewelry for Jason Momoa, for Mary J. Blige, for a lot of other different celebrities. And so he was so gracious to help design the pendant for us. And so we have a celebrity jewelry designer that designed it. And he designs all of the skull rings and skull belt buckles for Jason Momoa, who was on Game of Thrones. He was the Dothraki king on Game of Thrones, and Aquaman, who's on Aquaman.
Oh yeah.
So it's designed by a celebrity jewelry designer. Elle McPherson wears this pendant. We have Rue Mapp wearing it. He was featured on Oprah she was on gosh, I forget her business is like, amazing. She takes, African-American kids and takes them out to the forest, and outdoor
wow.
Afro. It's called Outdoor Afro is what it's called. It's so cute. And we have like Bobby Brown wears the pendant. We just have a lot of like really amazing health influencers. We have Dr. David Joggers, Dr. Eric Zielinski, Dr. Tom O'Brien, Robin Openshaw. All these really amazing health influencers also
Jane
are
Hogan.
wearing this themselves. So it's really flattering.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a beautiful piece of jewelry. It's got this flower on it, which that it reminds me of the Egyptian. You see that flower, the star, over and over again. So is there a connection with that at all?
Yeah, so there's a connection. It's kind of a watered down version of the flower of life. which
Right.
is sacred geometry. And
Sacred geometry.
geometry is the basis of how everything is created in the universe. So the shapes of things and, hi, honey. I'm going to Cassandra's. Okay, okay, go. It's my daughter's. Okay, bye, honey. Have a great time. You said that you're not good. Yeah, and so so the flower of life, it's a sacred geometry that is, it's hard to explain, but it forms the basis of all life. Every shape, the shape of a photon is based on the flower, or sorry, the flower of life geometry. And photons, that's the unit of light. And so what we've also found is with the pendant is we've done, different photon cameras. It's called a GVR camera, I believe. And before the pendant, all the biophoton field will be kind of a little bit dull. And then after we put the pendant on, the biophoton field completely lights up. And it just, the pendant is sending a lot of different information to your body, to your biophotons, to optimize your energy field. And so it's doing a lot of different things to, help to just improve your body's energy field, which will improve your physical health and various symptoms as well. But, if you want a better explanation of that, you can listen to Dr. Michael Tellinger. He has an amazing lectures on YouTube, and you can put in Taurus, Taurus, or Flower of Life,
Right.
and Dr. Michael Tellinger, and his whole life's work is talking about the flower of life and that sacred geometry and how that is the basis of everything in the universe. Essentially, it's very compelling work.
Beautiful. Yeah, I'm familiar with it, and I not with his work, but with the sacred geometry and even yoga. Yoga moves we're getting ourselves into positions of sacred geometry, which is pretty cool. And that's probably one reason why yoga is so powerful as well. But I love the design, and it's got these 4 little holes in it, which I noticed aren't all even the same size. So I'm sure there's a reason behind that as well.
Yes, yeah. So essentially what they're doing is the geometry on here is, well, you have the flower of life design, but you also have the 4 holes. And so those are to activate the pendant, you hold it about 12 inches from your sternum, and there's directions when you buy the pendant. But there's about 12, you hold it about 12 inches from your sternum, and that geometry is sending new information to your body's energy field. And that helps to kind of clear your energy field and optimize your energy field. So kind of fill any holes and the gaps in your energy field, so to speak. And you do that process once a week to kind of then rebalance your body's energy field. And you can do that at least once a week, or whenever you're not really feeling very good, like mentally or physically, you can do that again, and it can give you a little boost. But you want to, there's instructions to activate the pendant. And I also say a little kind of intention. Intentions are incredibly powerful. So I'll say a little intention too, I command this Harmony pendant to optimize my body's energy field and help me with whatever you're looking to get help with. And so intentions and words are incredibly powerful. So just be aware of that. And Bruce Lipton's The Biology Belief. He's my favorite person on the planet.
I got his book right here.
Yes, I love him. He's one of the most amazing light beings on the planet. So definitely so say an intention when you're activating the pendant.
Love that, Wendy.
Yes. And so just doing that process once a week will help to keep your energy field kind of balanced and optimized as much as possible.
Love that. I love the intention side of it as well. So I'm definitely going to start incorporating that as well. What about other things people could do, some other passive things they could do for protecting themselves? I know getting out in nature is a great one that you mentioned. What about what do you know about other things grounding sheets and things like that?
Yes,
I know
yes.
earthing is such a big topic right now, right?
Yeah, so there's a lot of other things you want to do. So the Harmony pendant's great, but it's not 100% protection from EMF. So nothing is. So you need to use a number of different strategies to help to protect your body and your energy field. So number one, you want to keep your cell phone at least 3 feet away from you. If you can keep it at arm's length from you, that can go a long way to creating that distance. So the farther is away from you, the less impact it's going to have on your body. So if you can't turn it off, keep it 3 feet away from you. Don't charge it right next to your head at night where you're sleeping. Try to charge it, across the room or in the next room. Put it on airplane mode if it is near your body or you're sleeping with it next to you. Keep it on airplane mode if it's on your body. If it's on your body, like in your pocket, it's going to be doing a lot, causing a lot more problems because it's right on your body field. Or on your physical body. Other things you can do are, like, I love the grounding sheets. Those are a great way because you want to protect yourself while you're sleeping. Really, really important. And because it's really difficult to mitigate all the EMF in your home unless you really go to a great lengths and you really educate yourself about that. So getting grounding sheets can at least protect you, all night long while you're sleeping. You can get Faraday cages also that kind of envelop your entire bed with, copper and silver wires and things like that in them, embedded in the Faraday and the mesh around the bed. You can get there's a graphite based paint. You can paint your walls with graphite paint and shield. There's a cube called the Blue Shield Cube. That is a fantastic way it works in 3 different ways to mitigate all the EMFs in your environment. So that's great for a whole house EMF mitigator. That's what I use as well. I also love the Aries Tech devices for your phones, your computer, and things like that. Those are great. They also have some really inexpensive stickers at creatrixsolutions.com. Really inexpensive stickers for your cell phone and computer as well.
Oh, that's great. Great. Oh, there's a few things there I haven't heard of. So wonderful. I know it's going to be great for my audience because a lot of people that listen to this show have pain and inflammation. And of course, this is one way anytime we can reduce inflammation, because these do cause inflammation, anytime we can reduce inflammation, we're also going to be reducing pain. So that's great. Also, I know see people talking on their phones with their phones next to their head. I'm like, please use your headset.
Stop, make it stop, please. Yes.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Or a lot of women stick their phones right here, in their bra. And I think, what? It's right next to your heart. Stop.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I do not put my phone to my head. I use headphones always. So you just have to get in the habit of doing that.
Yes.
Because people develop brain tumors on the side of their head. They're using their phone all the time. This is very well documented. Just don't be a statistic.
Yeah. So that's a preventable thing. And I know some people say turn off your Wi-Fi at night as well.
Yes. Yeah.
And
that's a very good one.
It's hard to remember to do that. So maybe having a timer or something like that might help, because you don't really need it on at night. And that's a great way to kind of shut that all down at night too.
Yeah.
So such great suggestions. And I know we're coming up to our time now. I know you've got a free gift for the audience, which I think is fantastic. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So you guys can click the link below. It's the top 5 ways to mitigate EMF in your environment. And I give you links to all the things that I recommend as well. So you guys can download that. It's totally free. It's a very, very basic primer on, if you're kind of a novice or even if you're advanced, these are the things that I found that really work to mitigate EMF in your environment, because, EMFs it's only growing. This issue. I mean, there's over 300 million cell phones in the United States. There are, because during the, pandemic, 5G towers went up everywhere in all the schools. They went up all over the place. And they're just increasing the cell phone use and the cell phone towers. And then there's, 5G satellites that are going up, video satellites and other, telecommunications satellites. thanks, and it's just people demanding it. And
It's growing.
there's a fight for the skies, Elon Musk and Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos, they're all fighting to own the skies because that's all that data is the new gold. And so, all these, they have different various companies that are, shooting up these high EMF emitting satellites into our stratosphere so that you don't have to have cell phone towers. You just have satellites everywhere blanketing the earth so people can get cell phone signals anywhere they are. And, because most countries can't afford the infrastructure to put up cell phone towers every, 10 feet. So these, very high megahertz frequencies are not detectable on your little EMF meters that you're using. And so it's going to be ever more important to think about protecting from EMF because it's only growing dramatically. I mean, they just started launching the satellites last August into the stratosphere, and there's going to be 100,000 in our atmosphere in the next 2 to 3 years.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
It's shocking. I mean, last month they've sent like 200 up they're sending up about 200 a month, and there's going to be 100,000 in a few years. So you need to be thinking about this. You need to be thinking about at least making your bedroom or the area where you spend most of your time a little cocoon, a little sanctuary from EMF, because I suspect that people that are very sensitive, females tend to be more sensitive than men. But I suspect that people with like heart palpitations and anxiety, fatigue and other types of things related to EMF sensitivity are going to be, and sleep issues are going to be growing dramatically. And I firmly believe that EMFs are a threat to human life and to the life on this planet. And unfortunately, I think people are going to get the message later than sooner. But this is something that you do need to be thinking about and how it impacts your health, and aim to protect yourself.
Well, I mean, this has been such a great education for people because people aren't really thinking about it. They want to have that cell phone working wherever they go, and we're not really thinking about how this is going to affect our health long term or even short term, right? So I'm so thankful to you, Wendy, for coming on the show and talking about it, and for the work that you're doing in the world, like, one pendant at a time, right? And whatever, and all the other things that you're doing to help educate people and help protect people from EMS. So thank you so much. I've got one last question I always ask my guests, and that is, what's one thing someone can do today to improve their health?
Yeah, so the number one thing I believe is grounding your body.
Right.
And so this is something that people kind of just have kind of pay attention to, or maybe they're not aware of it. And there's a number of strategies that I use. And so EMF ungrounds your body. Your body needs to have a negative charge. And that's what they mean by grounding, is getting this negative charge on your body. Because if you don't have it, your body doesn't work. We are electrical beings. And so you can do basic things like walking on the ground, laying on the ground, having a picnic on the ground, swimming in the ocean. But those things aren't enough to negate and reverse this positive charge that's inflicted on our body by EMFs. So other things that I do, or strategies, are I drink this water called Wata. And this Wata has it's infused with electrons, lots of electrons. It's also infused with tons of hydrogen and oxygen as well. And so I pretty much only drink this water, and I lug it. I live in Mexico, and I lug this freaking water down from the United States to Mexico in my luggage, and all those people at customs things. I'm crazy. But there's a reason for that, because this water, it's unbelievable in how the effects it can have with grounding. They've got tons of studies on their website on aquanew.com. You can buy it on Amazon too, but this is a great strategy also. Also mineralizing your body. People are so mineral deficient. You have to have minerals for your body to be grounded and to hold on to water. The people that are drinking water and just going right through them, they're peeing I feel like they pee every half an hour. you don't have the minerals to hold on to the water. So
Mm,
I like Quinton. I love Quinton minerals. I drink those, but you know, a lot of them, there's lots of great products out there
right.
for that. So grounding your body is super important, but also protecting from EMF is also really key in grounding, because if you're not grounded, when you fix that issue, it fixes so many other issues in your body.
Hmm.
And so many people are missing the basics. They're ill and they're looking for all these like really complex things and protocols, and they're missing the forest for the trees. Hydration, grounding, minerals have to be super, super basic things you need to do. And that fixes a lot of other things.
Mm, love that. Yeah, I love that whole getting back to basics and just give your body the basic resources that it needs, and the other things will fix themselves. So thank you so much, Wendy. I really appreciate you being on the show today and sharing everything that you know. Well, not everything that you know, but what you shared today with our audience. So thanks very much for being on Wellness by Design.
Yeah. Thanks so much for having me.